On this card here, I've got written a number. You can't see this number, but I'm going to beam that number into your minds using invisible vibrations. Okay, are you all ready? It's the number 8.
My name is Schnupp. I'm from Munich. I came to the UK 20 years ago. For my PhD work, I studied sound localization. Usually, how do we know where a sound source comes from? And now I'm increasingly interested in sound recognition. How do we recognize different sound sources? And I also do a lot of neuroscience teaching. I teach really all aspects of neuroscience to medics. When ancient Roman lawyers had to try to remember all the elements of an important speech, they would often use the device of a memory palace. They would imagine themselves walking through their house and place the elements that they had to remember in different parts of their house. They might imagine a key prosecution witness in the bedroom, another piece of incriminating evidence in the dining room, and in the living room, the murder weapon. Of course, scientists do an awful lot of communicating, of course. Our department publishes 200 research papers a year, but they are written for scientists communicating with other scientists. And I think, to try and communicate in a way that is accessible to people who haven't had 10 years of training before they can read that paper is going to be incredibly important. Consider the case of 23-year-old Laura, who was left in a coma after a terrible accident. Unable to talk or move or even bat an eyelid, nobody was quite sure whether she was even conscious. But then Adrian Owen and his team of neuroscientists from Cambridge and London put her in a brain scanner and asked her to imagine that she was playing a game of tennis.
And our winner? Well, this person made us all really care about the topic. They made us laugh a lot about the topic. They had charm and maturity and depth. We're really impressed. Just sort out your timing. It's Jan.
For the older audience, I think it's kind of worrying to see how easily they're scared about scientific issues. Somebody mentions bird flu, somebody mentions GM, somebody mentions global warming, and everybody just sort of goes, oh my God, So it seems almost that science has become the bearer of bad news. As soon as you get a science story, then everybody seems to have kind of developed an instinct that they have to now react with fear. And, that's, of course, anathema to what a scientist is trying to do. Just thinking back at the Oxford Heat, I was certainly very impressed by how stiff the competition was. So I certainly don't expect that it'll be in the bag at the final, but I'll give it my best shot. I think I've got the right topic. I've chosen something that can be portrayed in a slightly quirky, funny way, at least I hope.
Well, all you need is one simple stimulating electrode. Here's one that I made earlier from a knitting needle and a little bit of electrician's tape. And while your husband is asleep, give him a few sleeping pills to make sure he's soundly asleep. You crunch your stimulating electrode through the skull, okay, and push it through between the cerebral hemispheres until it reaches one of the pleasure centers. For example, the septal nucleus, which you have right here, okay. Then fix it in place with a little bit of glue. Your husband will end up looking like a Teletubby, but that's a small price to pay. You wait until your husband wakes up, you show him something that you would like him to take more interested in, say a Hoover, okay. And you apply a little bit of electricity here on top, and you watch his face light on him. Wow, a Hoover! Cool! Never realized Hoovers are so cool! And he'll go off and Hoover the entire house.